Mike Thompson was just trying to make it through another day when he stopped to help a lost Australian tourist. Little did he know this simple act of kindness would uncover a life-changing secret that would transform his future and his daughter Sophie's life forever. Before watching full video, comment below from where you watching, also like and subscribe for more videos. The evening sun cast long shadows across Lincoln Park as Mike Thompson finished his shift at the corner store. His back ached from restocking shelves all day, but he couldn't go home yet. He still had to pick up his daughter from the after-school program before they charged him the late fee he couldn't afford. At 34, Mike had been raising his 7-year-old daughter Sophie alone since his wife's car accident 2 years ago. The medical bills and funeral costs had drained their savings, forcing Mike to take on multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. As he hurried toward the school, a woman's voice called out behind him. "Excuse me. Please, can you help me?" Mike turned to see a well-dressed woman with a concerned expression. She was clutching a fancy leather purse in one hand and a small travel bag in the other. "I'm sorry to bother you," she said with an Australian accent, "but I think I'm completely lost. My phone died and I can't find my hotel." Mike glanced at his watch. He was already cutting it close. If he stopped to help, he'd definitely have to pay that late fee. "Which hotel are you looking for?" he asked, unable to ignore someone in need despite his own troubles. "The Bayview Suites," she replied. "I'm supposed to meet colleagues there in an hour." Mike sighed. The Bayview was on the opposite side of town from where they stood. "You're pretty far off. That's at least 3 miles from here." The woman's shoulders slumped. "Oh no. I've been walking in circles." A taxi drove past and Mike tried to flag it down, but it was already occupied. The buses had stopped running on this route, and the next one wouldn't come for another hour. Making a quick decision, Mike said, "Look, I need to pick up my daughter from school, which is just 2 blocks away. You're welcome to walk with me and then we can figure out how to get you to your hotel." The woman hesitated, clearly weighing whether to trust a stranger. "I'm Mike, by the way," he added with a friendly smile. "Amanda," she replied, returning his smile. "Thank you. That's very kind." As they walked to the school, Mike learned that Amanda was visiting from Sydney for a business conference. When they arrived at the after-school program, the supervisor gave Mike a sympathetic look. He was just 5 minutes late, but rules were rules. He handed over the late fee, which meant no new notebooks for Sophie this week. Sophie came bounding out with her backpack, her curly hair bouncing. She stopped short when she saw Amanda. "Who are you?" she asked bluntly. "Sophie Manners," Mike reminded her gently. "This is Amanda. She's lost and needs help finding her hotel." "You talk funny," Sophie observed. Amanda laughed. "I'm from Australia. That's why I sound different." Sophie's eyes widened. "Australia? With the kangaroos and koalas?" "Exactly right," Amanda said, her face brightening at Sophie's enthusiasm. The sky had darkened and rain began to fall as they left the school. Amanda looked at her dead phone worriedly. "I can't even call a taxi," she said. Mike made another split-second decision. "Our apartment is just 3 blocks from here. You can charge your phone there and call a taxi to take you to your hotel." At their small apartment, Mike apologized for the modest conditions as he showed Amanda where to charge her phone. The place was clean but worn, with furniture that had seen better days. Still, photos of Sophie covered the fridge and her artwork brightened the walls. "I was about to make dinner. Nothing fancy, just chicken sandwiches, but you're welcome to join us while your phone charges," Mike offered. Amanda accepted gratefully. As Mike prepared the simple meal, Sophie excitedly showed Amanda her school projects and favorite books. Mike couldn't help noticing how patiently Amanda listened to his daughter, asking thoughtful questions and seeming genuinely interested. Over dinner, Amanda shared fascinating stories about Australia that captivated both Mike and Sophie. She described the Sydney Opera House, the Great Barrier Reef, and feeding kangaroos at wildlife sanctuaries. "Why are you in our city?" Sophie asked between bites. Amanda paused before answering. "I'm here for some important meetings. But I haven't had time to see anything yet." After dinner, Amanda insisted on helping with the dishes despite Mike's protests. While they washed up, Sophie sat at the table drawing pictures of kangaroos. "She's wonderful," Amanda said quietly. "You've done an amazing job raising her." Mike smiled, though sadness flickered in his eyes. "We make it work. It's been tough since Jennifer died, but Sophie gives me a reason to keep going every day." Amanda's face filled with compassion. "I can't imagine how difficult that must be, doing it all on your own." "Some days are harder than others," Mike admitted. "Working multiple jobs doesn't leave much family time, but we treasure what we have." When her phone had enough charge, Amanda called a taxi. While they waited, Sophie convinced her to read a bedtime story. Mike watched from the doorway as Amanda sat beside Sophie on her bed, reading with different voices for each character. The scene made his heart ache with bittersweet memories of Jennifer doing the same. When the taxi arrived, Mike walked Amanda downstairs. The rain had stopped, leaving the streets glistening under the streetlights. "Thank you for everything, Mike," Amanda said sincerely. "Your kindness meant more than you know." "Happy to help," he replied. "I hope your meetings go well." Amanda hesitated before getting into the taxi. "I'd like to repay you somehow. Perhaps I could take you and Sophie to the Children's Museum this weekend? I have Sunday free before I leave." Mike was surprised by the offer. "That's not necessary." "I'd really like to," she insisted, handing him a business card. "My number's on there. Think about it." Mike took the card and nodded. "We'll see. Have a good night, Amanda." As the taxi drove away, Mike looked at the card. It read, Amanda Reynolds, Reynolds Foundation, with a phone number. He tucked it into his wallet, wondering if he would actually call. The week passed in its usual busy rhythm. Mike worked his morning shifts at the store and evening shifts at a warehouse. Sophie mentioned Amanda several times, clearly having taken a liking to their Australian visitor. By Saturday, Mike found himself looking at Amanda's card again. Sophie had been asking if they would see the kangaroo lady again. "Should I call her?" Mike asked his daughter. "Yes," Sophie exclaimed. "She promised to show me pictures of real koalas." With a smile, Mike dialed the number. Amanda answered immediately and seemed genuinely pleased to hear from him. They arranged to meet at the Children's Museum the following morning. Sunday arrived sunny and clear. Mike and Sophie waited on the museum steps. When Amanda appeared, Sophie ran to her excitedly. Amanda looked relaxed in casual clothes, jeans and a bright blue top, very different from her business attire when they'd first met. She brought a small backpack with snacks and a guidebook. "I thought we could be proper tourists today," she explained with a warm smile. The day was magical. They explored the Children's Museum, visited the city aquarium, and had lunch at a riverside cafe. Amanda insisted on paying for everything despite Mike's objections. "Please let me," she said. "This is the most enjoyable day I've had in a long time." As they walked through the botanical gardens, Amanda and Mike talked about their lives, dreams and challenges. Mike found himself sharing things he rarely discussed with anyone. "After Jennifer died, I put all my own plans on hold," he confided as they watched Sophie chase butterflies nearby. "Everything became about providing for Sophie and paying off the medical bills." Amanda listened attentively. "What were those plans?" "I studied mechanical engineering. I had designs for affordable solar-powered water filters, systems that could help communities without clean water. Now those blueprints just collect dust while I stock shelves." "It's never too late to revisit those dreams," Amanda said gently. By late afternoon, Sophie was exhausted from all the excitement. As they sat resting on a bench overlooking the river, she fell asleep against Mike's shoulder. "She's worn out," Amanda smiled. "Sweet thing. She doesn't get days like this very often," Mike said, smoothing his daughter's hair. "Thank you for today." Amanda seemed to be contemplating something important as she gazed across the water. Finally, she turned to Mike with a serious expression. "There's something I need to tell you, Mike. About why I'm really in this city." Mike raised an eyebrow. "Oh." "The Reynolds Foundation is a philanthropic organization," she began. "It was established by my father, who made his fortune in renewable energy. For the past 5 years, I've been directing our Fresh Start program." "What's that?" Mike asked. "We identify individuals who've faced significant hardships but continue to show exceptional character and compassion. People who help others despite their own struggles." She paused. "People like you, Mike?" Mike looked confused. "I don't understand." Amanda took a deep breath. "That day when you helped me find my way? It wasn't accidental. I wasn't actually lost." "What?" Mike felt a sudden chill. "Your name came to our attention through your former professor at the engineering program. He told us about your innovative designs, how you left school to care for your wife when she became ill, and how you've sacrificed everything to provide for your daughter while still volunteering at the community center teaching kids about science." Mike was speechless, trying to make sense of what she was saying. "We investigate all potential recipients thoroughly," Amanda continued. "That day was the final assessment, to see if you would help a stranger even when it cost you something. You didn't hesitate even though you knew you'd have to pay that late fee. So you were testing me?" Mike felt slightly uncomfortable with the revelation. Amanda nodded. "Initially, yes. But everything after dinner with you and Sophie, today's outing, That was just me getting to know two remarkable people. Before Mike could respond, Amanda reached into her backpack and pulled out an envelope. The Reynolds Foundation would like to offer you a full scholarship to complete your engineering degree, a living stipend for 2 years so you can focus on your studies, and complete forgiveness of your remaining medical debt. Mike stared at the envelope, unable to speak. There's more, Amanda continued. We have a development fund that wants to invest in your water filtration system design. We believe it could help thousands of people around the world. Tears welled in Mike's eyes. I can't accept this. It's too much. You can and you should, Amanda said firmly. This isn't charity, Mike. It's an investment in someone with both the skill and the heart to make a difference. The world needs your invention, and Sophie deserves to see her father achieve his dreams. Mike looked down at his sleeping daughter, thinking about what this opportunity would mean for their future. No more endless shifts. Time to be the father she deserved. A chance to create something meaningful. There's one more thing, Amanda said, her voice softer now. This is personal, not from the foundation. She reached into her pocket and pulled out 2 plane tickets. I'd love for you and Sophie to visit Sydney someday. To see those kangaroos and koalas she's so excited about. Mike looked from the tickets to Amanda's hopeful expression. In her eyes, he saw something he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years, possibility. I think, he said slowly, a smile spreading across his face, Sophie would absolutely love that. And so would I. As the sunset painted the river in shades of orange and gold, Mike Thompson, who had spent years giving everything he had to others, finally allowed himself to receive. And witnessing his joy, Amanda knew this was exactly why her father had created the foundation in the first place. 6 months later, Mike sat in his new workshop, finalizing designs for his solar water filtration system. Sophie was at the desk nearby, writing a letter to Amanda, who had become a regular part of their lives. On the wall hung a framed photograph of the 3 of them in front of the Sydney Opera House, Sophie's face bright with excitement, Mike looking more relaxed and hopeful than he had in years, and Amanda gazing at them both with unmistakable affection. Sometimes the greatest gifts come when we least expect them, often from helping a stranger who turns out to be not so strange after all. And sometimes, the kindness we show others opens doors we never knew existed. Mike had learned that compassion creates its own kind of magic, transforming not just the lives of those we help, but our own lives in ways we could never imagine.